We are here this morning on the toxic chemicals of concern to children. And the goal of this bill is to take a look at some of the chemicals that are bioavailable to children. And we know that they can have a pernicious effect on them, whether it's a cancer, whether it's a developmental delay, whether it's a hormone disruption, and the train agrees, that changes their systems. We want to be sure that we are able to create a system that is able to look at these chemicals. Previously, we've looked at banning chemicals. We ban one chemical, like we ban 1-dichloryl-3-propylphosphate, then they come up with 1-chloryl-2-propyl. And so they switch a molecule around, and they say, here's a new chemical, and then we have to try to go down that road again. The real message here is that not all chemicals are bad chemicals. There have been great advances brought about by good chemicals, but what we are concerned about are chemicals that are bioavailable to children. One of the biggest ones was lead. And then we looked at cadmium in children's jewelry, if you remember that fight. Little kids wearing necklaces that had 90% cadmium in them. Ask any group of children, guys, what does your little sister do when she has a necklace on? And each one of them will take the necklace and say, she puts it in her mouth. That makes that chemical bioavailable to that child. And that's the thing that we want to avoid. But we also want to be positive here. We want to create a green chemistry industry in the state of Connecticut and lead the country in saying we can close that loop. We can say that there are chemicals here. We have UConn, and thank you, UConn nurses, for being here. Shout out to you guys. And we want to partner with chemical innovations at UConn. We want to partner with green chemistry at Yale and say, let's create an industry that creates things that do the job but are not negative to our children, that don't cause cancer, that don't cause developmental delays. That is where this bill is headed. It's the beginning, and as I introduced it in the Appropriations Committee, I said it's the first baby step to a system that will protect our children. And I have to say, if we don't do this, first of all, the heartache to the parents, but secondly, the health care costs in the long run of allowing these bioavailable chemicals to be ingested by our children, to be breathed in like bromated fire retardants, they breathe it in the dust, and to have these impacts that are going to end up with costs that are astronomical in our health care and developmental delays. As I said, and one of the things that really scares me is I work closely with the Environmental Working Group, and of course with Ann through the Washington-based Environmental Working Group and our wonderful Clean Air, Clean Action here in Connecticut. They've done umbilical cord studies. Come on. They have found over 200 chemicals in umbilical cord blood. We've got to pay attention because these are our children. And when I say our children are our future, I actually mean it. And if somebody says to me, our children are our future, and when the tough vote comes and the time comes to do something like this, and I can't find them, then I'm saying don't say that. Don't say it unless you mean it.